G'day guys. The other day I had to do a service on a friend's car, which means I had to get Peppa out of the workshop. On the way out she was fine, but coming back in she was running like an absolute pig, running on 3 cylinders, carrying on like an absolute pork chop. I know exactly why she's doing it. It's fouling up the plugs because at the moment it's a 20 running a 25 ECU, which means it's running way too rich. So today what I'm going to do is change out the plugs. I will wind up the boost a little bit to try and compensate for the missing airflow. We'll see how it goes. I'll also take this as a quick opportunity to show you some of the things I've done around the front of the car. I'm going to take the camera off the rig real quick. Hello. Hello again. Get off. Hello. There we go. Right, so yeah, as you know, it's a RB20 completely stock, except for that bay mount intercooler. As you can see, the standard pipe work has just been cut and shut to get it to fit in there. I don't know if you can see underneath, too much darkness and stuff going on there. The air cleaner has been moved under there. It's now an aftermarket pod filter. That there is a really manky lobster pipe that I made up ages ago. As it turns out, it worked out perfectly to get the air cleaner in there. The alloy radiator is an aftermarket twin core, full alley, none of that plastic crap. We had to make up a cover over the top because viscous fans are like the Cookie Monster. They love eating fingers, so we need something there just to keep everyone safe. Fingers! That sounded more like Yoda. Anyway, the front bar, last time I went out, caught a few cones. The front bar's like eating cones, and I managed to break off the panel that goes along here. So what I'm going to do later on, I'm just going to square all of this up, make it pretty, and cut this thing off. It's probably for the good, because later on in the year I'll be attending a Matsuri, which is going to go all weekend, and I'm going to need some really good cooling. This bar mount here is a bit of a backyard job. These little clippy doobie lacky things here are actually off a Falcon Ute. They're to hold the tonneau cover on. They work perfectly as little speed clips with some cable ties. These guards got absolutely minced up the last time I went out. They actually stuck out a lot more. They probably came out to about here. Yeah, something like that. The tyres kept catching on the guards, and I ended up having to get a tyre lever and getting the lever in there and folding them up. But this tyre got a particularly nasty cut. I don't know if we can see that. Yeah, there it is.
Hello, hello. I got eaten before.
No, another Yoda. There is a bar that I welded through here with a bit of 40 mil square tubing. Makeshift tow hitch from a exhaust flange. A lot of the front has been gutted out for the sake of making it a drift car. A lot of it was pretty much how I bought it. Like, say for example, these headlights are only just held in there by 2 points. There used to be a bracket. Where's this camera going? Yeah. There used to be a bracket just here which would make it more solid. Man, I'm really bad at this camera work. Yeah, inevitably going to be changing engines quite a lot, or at least pulling it out to try and get to like turbo lines, because they're way too awkward to get to in the car. So what you want to do is cut this, wait, there we go. Cut that out, just 2 cuts at the ends, make up a bracket underneath with a bolt. That way you can take this in and out. It's going to make taking the engine out a lot easier, because you can take the engine and gearbox out in one hit through the front of the car, rather than having to lift it up over the top. That's about it for now. Let's get stuck into it. So this is why I'm having all the troubles. It's all carbonised and fouled. The reason for that is because it is a RB20 running a 25 ECU. Even though 20 and 25 are almost pretty much the same, the 25 is bigger bore, so it's going to be using a bit more air. therefore the fuel map is going to be using a bit more fuel. Also, I'll chuck in a few handy hints for you RB newbies. Your spark plugs are going to be sitting way down inside the head. They're going to be very awkward to get to because they have a bracket across the top. If you use a bit of hose to take your plugs out once you've loosened them off, this is just a bit of air hose, 10mm air hose, because they fit perfectly over the plug. You can loosen off your plugs, drop this onto the plug and wind it out. The core packs on these engines sit underneath a valley cover inside the head, which is this piece here. What happens is the engine heat collects underneath this and it gets inside the core packs and it fries them. What guys usually do is leave this off, which is actually a pretty good idea, but I don't particularly want to because I prefer to keep things a little bit neater. So later on what I'll be doing is cutting most of this up to get the heat outside. Also, if you're running standard core packs, what would be a good idea is to coat them in urethane, which is this stuff here. That stuff's made by CRC. There's other companies out there that make the same stuff. Basically, you just spray it on and it dries like a thick plastic film, because what happens with these RB core packs is they are prone to electronic leakage, so you end up developing misfires. If you're running aftermarket core packs, it doesn't matter so much, but these standard ones are a little bit rubbish. The standard plug to use in an RB is a BC-PR6ES. These are an 11. The 11 means 1.1mm gap. If you do find yourself with a set of 11s, you will need to get them down to 0.8 because under boost, the spark will actually blow out and cause misfires. The plug that I'm changing these out for is a BC-PR5EY11. So being an 11, I will have to gap them down. But also a 5 is a hotter plug, which means under a richer environment they will self-clean a little bit better than what a 6 will. And also the Y means that it's V-groove tip. A V-groove will give you a bigger surface area for a spark to develop. It should help a little bit with the misfire, but probably not, so it doesn't really matter. Let's change them. Alright, so everything's all bolted in and dandy. Let's see how she runs. Fucking start motor! Well, that starter motor I need to get sorted out because that is annoying the hell out of me. I was going to play with the boost a little bit, but I think I'll do that down at the track because if I do that out on the street, I'm just asking for trouble. And also, when it's down at the track, it'll put the car under proper drifting conditions and I get a better idea of just how it's going to go. So, we'll do that later. Thanks for watching. Pleb up, blaze on! Carrying on like an absolute pork chop. So, I know exactly why she's doing it, is because she's fouling up. The core packs on these engines sit underneath the valley cover, this thing underneath. The core packs on these engines. Spit it out, mate, spit it out. Use your words. To get the heat outside. Sorry. Whoops. Thankfully that's made out of metal. I'll also take this as a quick opportunity to show you. Fuck. I'll also take this as a quick opportunity to show you around the front of the car, to show you around the front of the car some of the things I've done. I'll also take this as a quick opportunity to show you some of the things I've done around the front of the car. Yes!